going on.
Thank you so much.
Pay like $1 million.
Shout out TMZ, you up?
Let me check out that rig.
TMZ stands for the Mayweather Zone.
How'd you find me, bro? I got my disguise on.
I love my TMZ family. Smoochie.
Welcome to TMZ Sports. I'm Mike Babcock with my guys, Lucas Widman, Edward Lewis. Fellas, we're going to start with an NBA superstar being called a mockery to the game of basketball by an NBA official. We're talking about Trae Young, Hawks superstar who had an absolute meltdown late in the fourth quarter of last night's play-in game between the Hawks and the Orlando Magic. Game was going down in Orlando. Now, they were down big late, and Trae Young just absolutely lost it. If you haven't seen what happened, watch here after Trae Young scores the bucket. Watch how he fires the basketball to the official, resulting in his first technical, and then the second technical came just seconds later. Check it out.
And that's their 7th combined 3.
Oh, Young goes between Carter's legs and scores it. Wendell Carter knows he's going to be in a highlight. And that's a tee. Yeah, Cole Anthony. What a performance. And now a second technical. And Trae Young snatches the ball from Pat Trae. That's going to cost him some money there. He ball faked him, shot faked him, and Young's been ejected. Young already had one tee. Kicks the ball, prevents it from going to the official. And then refused to give it to him and got hit with a second tee, and he's out.
Frustrating night all around.
So there was, they were obviously down 20 points at the time of the ejection. The Magic ended up winning the game by 25 points. Now the Hawks, they've got to win or go home if they wish to continue in the NBA playoffs. But a tough look for Trae Young.
And you usually see one of the two if a player is going to act out, but both of those in the span of about 20 seconds is really unseen, especially with a guy of Trae Young's caliber. And officials made sure to make note of that after the game, explaining why he got those two techs and his free pass to the locker room with, less than 5 minutes left in the game. And they said, this is James Williams, the NBA official, and he said, Trae Young received his first unsportsmanlike technical foul for throwing the ball at a game official. Got that. We all knew that. But then he received his second unsportsmanlike technical foul for kicking the ball away and making a mockery of the game as we were attempting to shoot the free throw for the first technical foul. And by rule, when the player receives two unsportsmanlike fouls, he's ejected from the game. So some harsh words from Williams there, but they made it clear that we're not having any of this.
The NBA's got a real issue here with officiating and players. We've seen this now. I believe this is about the third incident. If you recall back to even the Luka Doncic incident where he was mouthing off to a fan and he got ejected. And not only that, but then we're going back to the Ja Morant incident where he's flashing guns and now throwing grenades. The NBA really needs to figure out, I guess, how to adjudicate all of these matters. I think not only the punishment for this kind of action has to be stronger, but again, dating back to the Luka Doncic thing, they have to figure out a way to make sure that they're getting the right place. So regarding this incident in itself, I think there has to be more than just a fine. And it's something they're going to have to do with the collective bargaining agreement and all that. But it cannot just be merely tens of thousands of dollars to multi-millionaires. They got to figure this out because this is embarrassing for everybody involved. This is one of the faces of the NBA, and he's ball faking a referee. In any other sport, do you see this in any other way? I think there's got to be some kind of suspensions or something like that. Obviously, maybe not now because the playoffs are on the line. But again, these players are doing this. Ja Morant's flashing guns and throwing grenades into the crowd. It's got to be fixed. And on the officials' end, too, like we saw with the Luka Doncic thing, they got to fix their stuff, too. So the NBA, they really have a problem here, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, and it's hard. It's a difficult issue to fix because the reality is that fans come out to see and they turn on their televisions to watch guys like Trae Young. That's just that when it comes to the NBA, these players are such superstars and they've got such power that, the league's in between a bit of a rock and a hard spot here because you want to have Trae Young on the floor, but also can you allow these sort of antics to continue? Now, after the game, once Trae Young had cooled down a little bit, you knew he was going to be asked by the media about what transpired late in the game. Here was the NBA superstar addressing those questions.
I take my frustration on the rest, not just for me, it's for my teammates. Like, I see Dyson Daniels going. I mean, you may not be a household name yet, but he deserves the same amount of respect as some of these other guys. And if you see a foul, you should call the foul, and that's pretty much all it was for me. I mean, for me, it's just that, none more, none less. I'm not letting it dwindle. I'm not letting people think about what I'm feeling and things like that. Obviously, I told them I was sticking up for the squad, and I'm not going to let the rest frustrate me like that in our next game. I know we got to win or go home next, so I'm going to be ready.
In that game, barring something unforeseen like a suspension, which I don't think the NBA will do right now, not with one game potentially left in the season for the Hawks, they will play Friday, season on the line. Again, win or go home. All right, guys, moving on to Cam Ward, the player that a lot of people think will be the number one player taken in next week's NFL draft. And maybe it's not even what a lot of people think anymore. Maybe this thing is already a foregone conclusion, because I think, guys, and you'll tell me if I am wrong here or if I am misreading what happened last night. But Cam Ward having a relaxing night on the sticks, playing some Fortnite online. And as he was playing Fortnite, he was answering some questions from fans. Now, fans were curious as to who some of Cam Ward's favorite NFL players were. They asked him about his favorite wide receivers. They asked him about his favorite running backs. Now, no shade to the guys that Cam Ward is going to name here, but he named some players that a lot of people agree are some of the most dynamic and explosive players in the league. And then he also named a couple of Tennessee Titans players who might not exactly be on that level. A lot of people listened to what Cam said, and they said, okay, it's a done deal. He is going to the Titans, and he knows this, and that's why he named those guys. So without further ado, this is last night, Cam Ward, Fortnite, answering fan questions.
Well, I'm not naming top 5. I'm naming 5 head coaches I like. Number 1.
In the NFL right now?
Number 1, Brian Callahan.
Okay.
Number 2, Stefanski.
Okay.
Number 3, Brian Daboll. Number 4.
I'm starting to see the pattern.
AJ Brown's a dog, but he's not Calvin Ridley. Okay, so y'all already said Ridley, Jamar, Justin.
I think Jason Jamar is like the top.
And then for my last one, Traylon Burks. And that ain't capping either. I'm dead ass serious. My top 4 running backs in the league right now, I would say Tony Pollard, Spears.
Okay. All right.
Move over NFL insiders. I guess we just have to go on Twitch all night and just hear everything that we need weeks in advance. But
Adam Schefter, who?
Yeah, it's funny because he goes down the list in order of the teams and their head coaches of the NFL draft. Stefanski is a very fun way to pronounce Kevin Stefanski, but you know, Browns fans are probably crossing their fingers that the Titans end up passing on him. But after watching this, yeah, I do believe it's a foregone conclusion, especially after name dropping Traylon Burks.
Well, Traylon Burks, he had 4 catches last year. Jamar Chase had 127.
No disrespect to the great Traylon Burks, but I don't think he's on anyone's Mount Rushmore of current players right now. But
or Tajay Spears is the best running back.
But you know, this is really cool, and he's interacting with the fans, and it's not too shocking if anyone has been following what's been going on with the NFL draft and the rumblings that are going on. And you know, it is really cool. And he said, you know, seriously, this is my list, but we all know what this is. Next, he's going to say his favorite song is "Broadway Girls" by Morgan Wallen.
Right. Do you think could this be that they haven't told him they're picking him, but that he's trying to make the case to the Titans to pick him?
Yeah, I do think he's going to go number 1, but I think this is maybe more pandering to the Titans than it was like some sort of revealing that he was, you know, because this felt like naming Stefanski, naming Daboll. You would have thought that if he's already like trying to give clues that I've already been picked, then maybe he would have named off offensive coordinators or you know, defensive coordinators for the Titans. So I think he was probably pandering a little bit here, like currying favor with them, like, hey, if you take me, I love all your guys. But at the same time, I think he's the no doubt number 1 pick, and I don't think anybody denies it.
police respond to a domestic disturbance at former NBA star Eric Bledsoe's home. The very latest on a bizarre situation in Los Angeles is coming your way next on TMZ Sports. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Mike, Lucas, and Edward. Guys, Eric Bledsoe, former NBA star, was allegedly involved in a domestic dispute this week with his girlfriend that saw cops come out to his house in LA.
Yes, so we spoke with law enforcement sources who tell us neighbors called police regarding a potential domestic disturbance at Bledsoe's residence. And once they arrived at the scene, they spoke with Bledsoe and his partner, Brianna May. Now, both were not willing to speak with cops about what exactly happened, but they still did some investigating anyway and came to the conclusion that there was an argument and that at one point in the incident, Bledsoe was locked out of the residence. And now we're told that it appeared that Bledsoe broke his way back into the residence and they did conclude that there was no violence whatsoever, but no arrests were made. However, these are allegations that, if you think back to about 3 years ago, Bledsoe and Brianna May also had to deal with cops when he was accused of slapping her, although those charges were eventually dropped. But Ed's going to talk a little bit more about this, but things got a bit interesting based on Bledsoe's social media activity Wednesday morning.
Yeah, he appeared to kind of acknowledge that something had happened. He posted a shot of Brianna May with a caption that said, "Sorry for hurting you. Dang, I messed up." He also posted something on his stories that was a video that appeared to be him and her, and they were dancing, it seemed. And in the caption on that, it said, "Come back, please." He deleted these like within minutes of posting them. But again, it does appear that he's acknowledging something happened, that perhaps he was maybe the aggressor or something like that. So again, it's all over social media as well. There appear to be some other things he basically tweeted and deleted too. So it does seem something happened that he is remorseful about.
Yeah, I mean, he was putting these things up, and then it seemed like just minutes later he would take them all down, and another one goes up and goes down, and rinse and repeat. The reality is here, from what we've been told, talking with our law enforcement sources, it wasn't Brianna or it wasn't Eric that made the initial call to police. This was something that a neighbor either saw or heard, and they became concerned, so they called police. When cops get there, like Lucas said, neither Brianna or Eric wished to cooperate. And the reality is, if Eric Bledsoe owns the house, he can break into his own home. He can do whatever he wants with his own stuff, as long as he's not hurting her. And again, there is no allegation here that anything turned physical. If she locks him out, he's technically legally allowed to break inside that home. And again, that's what we have been told happened here. At the end of the day, nobody was arrested. Cops left. They took a report. And this one's kind of close. Whether or not they get back together, because it seems like right now they are not together. Obviously, that's going to be up to Brianna and to Eric. But as far as legal charges, in the clear. Jamal Lewis's son gets in a workout with Travis Kelce. What was it like rubbing elbows with the future Hall of Famer? We'll ask the former Ravens running back and his 15-year-old son when TMZ Sports returns right after this. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Mike and Edward. We told you yesterday that Travis Kelce, after a slow start to the football season last year, where a lot of people said he looked old, he looked out of shape, Travis intent on that not happening again this season. And because of that, Ed, he has began working out earlier than he has typically in his career. As a matter of fact, Travis Kelce pressed pause on the offseason, pressed pause on hanging out with Taylor Swift to head down to Florida, where he linked up with a really popular and a really accomplished trainer, as well as the high school football star of an NFL legend, Jamal Lewis. That right there is Jamal Lewis's son, of course, the great Ravens running back. His son, Jazz, he's a young kid. He's only 15 years old, but he is a very good football player in his own right. Ed, we actually had a chance to sit down and speak with not just Jazz, but also Jamal about working out with the future first ballot Hall of Famer, Travis Kelce. Take a look.
Every time I get a break from school, I get down to Florida, and then I'll go work with Tony Villani and XP and just get to work with some pro guys and just get the experience that some other kids can't get and get to soak up all the knowledge that they give me.
What was it like I guess, rubbing elbows, so to say, with, arguably the greatest tight end ever to play the game.
Oh yeah, when Travis Kelce was there, it was amazing. I got to learn. He gave me some tips on how to run better routes, be smoother, and yeah, it was nice.
How about from your standpoint, Jamal? What's it like getting, to see your boy learn from some of the greats?
Yeah, man, it's pretty cool. Just being able to. He said he wanted to take up football and wanted to be the best that he can be. So my job is to provide the resources and put them in the right places. And going down there when we got time off, it's a lot of pro players that come around, and that's kind of the whole point. Is to basically get them in so that they can rub elbows with some of these guys and get in those same lines. And run routes or do drills. And, these guys, I did it when I was playing. I had a lot of younger kids that was there. And, sometimes it's good to pass that back down and show them what they're doing wrong, or while they're working, you kind of help and coach them up in line. And it's good to put them in those groups. So it's a good thing, man. And, later on, they'll really cherish it.
That's not too bad, Ed, learning from Jamal Lewis and Travis Kelce as a young football player.
Yeah, a couple of things here. For Travis Kelce, shout out to him for actually taking the time to train Jazz in this.
Yeah.
I know when I go work out or I run laps or something like that, the last thing I want to do is hang out with a 15-year-old and tell him, no, this is how I'd run this. And for Travis to obviously be taking his offseason far more serious this year than he has in the past, to take time out to help Jazz was super cool. But also, Jazz, how cool is it to have Jamal Lewis as a father? Not only does he get to learn from Jamal Lewis, he gets to learn from this world-renowned trainer, he gets to learn from Travis Kelce, but he also told us later in our interview that he's been around Jahmyr Gibbs, Tank Bigsby, Tank Dell before the injury. So he's learned from all kinds of pros through his dad. And in fact, he took his quarterback, one of his teammates, to this event as well. So he's helping everybody else. So being Jamal Lewis's son is awesome. I expect huge things from Jazz going forward. Not only because of this, but obviously being Jamal's son.
A high-pitched sound delays a game while another game features an out off of the back of a base runner. We'll spotlight some unusual things from around the diamond when TMZ Sports comes back right after this. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Mike, Lucas, and Edward. Guys, it's time for some MLB oddities. There are a million baseball games a year. It seems like you watch a game and something crazy always happens, something that you've never seen before. And that was the case for me last night as the Detroit Tigers were in Milwaukee to play the Brewers. Now, it was bottom of the seventh inning. Watch what happens here as Spencer Torkelson throws the ball, or tries to throw the ball, to Trae Sweeney. However, the ball doesn't go to Trae Sweeney. Well, not at least until it first corrals off the back of the runner, Bryce Terang. They still make the out. Watch this.
There's a ground ball. Torkelson spins it to second and hits the runner. It bounces into the glove of Sweeney for the out. Somehow, some way, that piece of popcorn ends up in the hopper and into Sweeney's glove.
Butterback. I've never seen that in my entire life.
You're be kidding me.
I mean, he squares him up in the back, right at the right shoulder. Sweeney stays with it, stretch, extension, foot on the bag, and that is one of the coolest plays you'll ever see in a baseball game.
Couldn't do it again if you tried. Right?
Just how they drew it up, Right. And you can tell with Sweeney giving a little shrug after, like, I'm not even surprised.
Right.
That's exactly how we were supposed to go about it. But, shout out to them for being able to, kind of go out on a limb there and kind of audible just in time to make the play.
No, it's funny. Cool, I mean, how many games, how many routine ground balls have you seen? Thousands and thousands. You've seen plenty of guys, plenty of runners get hit before, but I have never seen this. Not ever in my life. And he got him. I mean, it was close, but he was out.
Yeah, terrible way to lose a base hit. Huh? I hate to have my average based on that. I mean,
it's too hard to get a hit, Ed, to lose lose one like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that also wasn't the only weird thing to happen in the MLB last night. In the Rays versus Red Sox game, you'll remember the Rays are playing their games at George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa now because the Trop is being repaired. Well, they're having issues with their PA system, it appears. Walker Buehler was on the mound early in the game, and there was some sort of noise, which we'll play here in just a second, that basically paused the action for about 30 seconds. Take a listen if you can. You might have to hold your ears a little bit, but yeah, this is crazy. I've never seen anything like this.
A 3-1 ball game now. Yeah, there's a little buzz in the ballpark, and it's not the fans. And they've halted play, trying to figure out if that buzz will subside. But there's a whistling effect in the sound system.
There we go.
And whatever they had to do, they did it.
Well, I have a theory here. I think this was the New York Yankees doing, because this, of course, is the spring training home, George M. Steinbrenner Field. Like Ed said, the Rays just happen to be playing there this year. Rays, rivals of the Yankees. Red Sox, rivals of the Yankees. So why not ruin a perfectly nice night for all of those rival fans out there? So that's just my theory. Probably not. They're probably just a technical issue.
My least favorite segment that we've ever done on this show, especially after 3 days at Coachella. My ears are rather sensitive right now, and I would love to never hear that sound again.
Yeah.
Yankees, you don't have to pay Juan Soto. How about you get another PA system for your minor league stadiums? Come on.
Yeah, also TMZ, look out for 3 lawsuits coming for loss of hearing. Stay tuned on that. We've got to go. We're out of time. We got a big show planned tomorrow. Have a great night. We'll see you then.
I'm a lawyer.